Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to now begin the program of the international webinar, Ocean Panel's Policy Recommendations Promoting Sustainable Ocean Economies and International Partnership. Today you can access the seminar by YouTube. Thank you for taking the time and joining with us at this webinar. Under the auspices of Norwegian government, the panel was established, and former Prime Minister Abe joined the panel, which was succeeded by the current Prime Minister Suga, for the establishment of the sustainable ocean economy. The high-level panel came up with the policy recommendations, which was announced yesterday, and thus we have invited the members of the high-level panel as a part of the series of seminars that are going to be organized in conjunction with these recommendations. And please note that this webinar is translated simultaneously into Japanese and English. Now, at the outset, on behalf of the organizers, I should like to invite Mr. Atsushi Sunami of the OPRI to give us the opening remarks. Dr. Atsushi Sunami.
皆様おはようございます。
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much indeed for your joining us this international webinar, Ocean Panel Policy Recommendation promoting sustainable ocean economies and international partnership, sharing your busy time from your busy schedule toward the end of the year. My name is Sunami, President of Sasakawa Peace Foundation. I also am the President of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of this foundation. The novel coronavirus reached the world. It seemed to go far away for once, but unfortunately, Europe, North America, and Japan apparently are in its third wave. That's why we decided to hold this program on a webinar style so that we can stay vigilant. I wish you a safety and healthy days. Commemorating the Marine Day, National Holiday of Japan, 23rd of July this year, OPRI-SPF held a 3-day webinar together with the Nippon Foundation and economists focusing on ocean economy and economic recovery from the corona pandemic, focusing particularly on ocean warming, depletion of marine resources, and the growing ocean marine plastic debris, and IUU fisheries and MPAs as important urgency issues that the international community faces. And in discussing these critical issues, the core of any policies should be the conservation of marine resources and the sustainable use of these resources. As has been stated, under the auspices of the Norwegian government, in 2018, the high-level panel, Ocean Panel, was launched, which conducted the leaders level policy dialogues and issuance of 16 thematic blue papers and 3 special reports. And the 14 the heads of states, as well as the United Nations Secretary General, Special Envoy for the Ocean, in total 15 leaders making up of this panel. From Japan, former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, succeeded by the Yoshihide Suga, the current Prime Minister, represent Japan, together with the President Embassy of Palau and the Prime Minister Republic of Norway, who co-chairs of this panel. The 3-year activities of the panel have culminated in the policy recommendations issued yesterday, where Mr. Keiichi Ono, the Director General for the global issues of the MOFA of Japan, as the Sherpa of Japan, as well as Ambassador OPRI-SPF of Palau to the United Nations, made the leadership efforts for summarizing these policy recommendations. And they are supported by expert group and the advisory network consisting of research organizations, NGOs, and international organizations. Dr. Hide Sakaguchi of JAMSTEC are members of the expert group, as well as the OPRI as the member of the advisory network. Today's program is co-organized by the Foreign Ministry of Japan, intended for the spreading of the message of this the Ocean Panel, as well as deepening dialogue with you. And once again, I'd like to express my deep appreciation to the Norwegian government, and led by the Prime Minister Suga, and as for their leadership. And my deep appreciation also goes to the President Remegasa, the MOFA, and WRI, and all other people and organizations concerned. 3 hours ago, the similar symposium already started in Fiji, followed by this one jointly by Japan and Palau, followed by Australia, Africa, Europe, Caribbean nations, and the American states. For the further deepening of understanding of the policy recommendations of the Ocean Panel. I wish that this opportunity will further promote the understanding and the sharing of wisdom and development for the sustainable ocean and sustainable ocean economy. We also have resolved our efforts and our resolve to make more important roles for to implement the agenda through partnership cooperations, the policy research, as well as stakeholder dialogues. And together with island and coastal nations, we will continue our effort together with you, so that our future generations will continue to benefit and the fruits of the ocean that they provide to us. I sincerely hope that you continue to cooperate and support to us, so that we can further pass on our benefits of the ocean to future generations after, with this international webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunami. From now on, I'd like to hear greetings from the members of the panel, as well as the ambassadors to Japan. And this part is going to be moderated by Dr. Sunami, and please access the materials through the link, and the Dr. Kobayashi, Chief, the researcher, is going to be the moderator for this part of the seminar.
ございます。それでは早速プログラムを進めさせてまいりたいと思います。まず、
Thank you very much. Without further ado, we'd like to start the program right away. First, we have greetings from Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. He succeeded Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in September this year to become 99th Prime Minister. Before that, he served as the Minister of Internal Affairs and Communication, and for many years he was the Chief Cabinet Secretary, functioned as the core of the administration. In October, at the time of the policy statement, the speech, he declared the net zero 2050, and that he is currently promoting actively various measures against the global environmental issues. Today, he would share with us the policies of Japan as well as international collaboration to promote sustainable ocean economy. I am Suga Yoshihide, Prime Minister of Japan. We, the leaders of the 14-member ocean states of the high-level panel for sustainable ocean economy, issued a leaders' document entitled Transformations for Sustainable Ocean Economy. It is the first attempt to formulate a leadership statement by the high-level panel that comprehensively addresses the issues of conservation and sustainable use of the ocean. I'd like to express a deep respect to Excellencies Ms. Erna Solberg, Prime Minister of Norway, and Mr. Tomi Remengesau, Jr., the President of the Republic of Palau, for their leadership. Japan has already set forth a basic plan on ocean policy aligned with this leadership statement and has been making efforts toward building a sustainable ocean economy. Under this plan, Japan is committed to sustainably managing all the oceans under its jurisdiction so as to ensure that a future generation can reap benefits from the abundant ocean resources. We plan to further facilitate these efforts going forward. To enable sustainable ocean economy, it is also essential to take ambitious actions toward mitigating climate change, such as through leveraging ocean-based renewable energy. My administration declared that by 2050, Japan will aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to net zero and realize a carbon-neutral society. By accelerating a virtuous cycle of the economy and the environment through innovations, as well as utilizing the potential of the ocean, such as offshore wind power, Japan will lead international efforts to achieve a decarbonized world that the Paris Agreement aims for. In our view, collaborating with the international community on the issue of marine plastic litters is also indispensable toward facilitating ocean conservation. Japan launched the Osaka Blue Ocean Vision as the G20 Osaka Summit last year. To realize a vision which aims to reduce additional pollution by marine plastic litter to zero by 2050, Japan will actively tackle this problem with relevant partner organizations such as the United Nations Environmental Programme's International Environmental Technology Center, or UNEP IETC, headquartered in Osaka, through such as facilitating technical assistance to developing countries. We hope that this leaders' document will serve as the compass toward building a sustainable ocean economy and lead to concrete actions in passing our abundant ocean resources onto our future generations. Thank you very much for your attention.
菅総理。
Prime Minister Suga, thank you very much indeed for your very forceful and strong statement. Amid the various the issues such as ocean acidification, ocean warming, very important the policy statement has been made about the reduction of the greenhouse gas, renewable energy for a sustainable ocean economy. Now I'd like to invite His Excellency Mr. Tomi Remengesau, the President of Republic of Palau.
And great to see you. We are supposed to be in Palau this week to help finalizing the preparation for our ocean conference that is now postponed to next year. We appreciate your leadership role in promoting Palau-Japan partnership and international cooperation for facilitating the conservation and sustainable use of marine resources and sustainable blue economies. We pay a great tribute to you for your great achievement. May I now invite you, Mr. President, to give us your remarks as a co-chair of the high-level panel for sustainable ocean economy.
Good morning, everyone from Palau. Prime Minister Suga, Minister Solberg, ambassadors, excellencies, friends, and guests. Over 2 years ago, Prime Minister Solberg and I, together with 12 other world leaders, formed the high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy. Today, I'm excited to launch our new Ocean Action Agenda, alongside messages that you've just heard from Prime Minister Suga and soon Prime Minister Solberg. This agenda presents transformative solutions for moving towards a sustainable ocean economy and shows us a way to protect, produce, and prosper from the ocean. I want to thank Prime Minister Suga for his support and endorsement of the panel's work and continuing the engagement of his predecessor, His Excellency Abe Shinzo. Japan, like Palau, is an ocean society. Our shared commitment in implementing this ocean agenda is an important symbol of partnership to the rest of the world. This shared commitment will encourage ocean and coastal states everywhere to take up the Ocean Panel's agenda. In particular, I want to commend Prime Minister Suga's net zero emissions target for Japan, which he announced shortly after taking office last month. This is an important statement of climate ambition. It is also highly relevant to the panel's ocean agenda. The health of our ocean depends on keeping the Paris Agreement's temperature goal alive to avoid the worst impacts of ocean warming, sea level rise, extreme weather events, and acidifying waters. We cannot reflect on our ocean agenda without reflecting on the crisis of the pandemic that we have faced this year. Much of what we have taken for granted seems ever more fragile, especially in public health and economic prosperity. The connection between the pandemic and biodiversity loss shows us just how vulnerable we are. But as we look to rebuild and recover, there's good news. The Ocean Panel commissioned research has found that every dollar we invest in sustainable ocean solutions can yield at least $5 in social, health, economic, and environmental benefits. This is why I'm thrilled that at the core of the Ocean Panel's agenda is a commitment to 100% sustainable ocean management of our exclusive economic zones. If we use the opportunity of developing these plans as part of our response to the pandemic, then we can genuinely build back, lure, and build back better. The panel's work is a truly historic effort. Not only is the Ocean Panel the first initiative that brings together world leaders on ocean issues outside of formal processes, but we have been able to reach political consensus in the midst of the pandemic. In addition to our 100% commitment, we are also putting forward 74 concrete, practical actions which provide a pathway to transforming our relationship with the ocean. This new policy agenda, called Transformations for a Sustainable Ocean Economy, a vision for protection, production, and prosperity, spans new and established ocean industries, effective protection, expanding ocean knowledge, and financing this transformation. Palau is already working to implement a sustainable ocean economy. Our National Marine Sanctuary began its implementation phase this year. This is a landmark effort at protection that also supports economic production and equitable prosperity, especially through tourism and fisheries. Japan's partnership has been important to what we have achieved so far, the sanctuary and too much else in the areas of aquaculture, tourism, waste management, and more. I know that this partnership will continue to grow as we work to realizing our shared vision of a sustainable ocean economy. For Palau, Japan, Norway, and indeed all coastal and ocean states, the ocean is our past, our present, and indeed it is our future. A sustainable ocean economy is one we can pass forward to our children. A sustainable ocean economy does not have to be and must not be a choice between protection and production. When the ocean is healthier, so are we. This is why the 14 members of the Ocean Panel are making this commitment today. It is why we're calling on every leader of ocean and coastal states to join us, to turn our 100% goal into a reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Remingso, for underlining the importance of promoting a sustainable ocean economy and international partnership, and sharing your inspiring perspectives. We reiterate our appreciation to you, Mr. President, for your leadership and compassion. We will continue to support Palau in preparing for the postponed Ocean Conference and achieving sustainable ocean economies. We are certain that we will continue to benefit from your ingenuity toward reinforcing international partnership. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you, Mr. President, very soon. 続きまして、ハイレベルパネルの共同議長であります、アーナ・ソルベルグノルウェー首相を
Now, I'd like to have an honor of introducing Prime Minister of Norway, Erna Solberg, the co-chair of the high-level panel. After she became a prime minister in 2013, she has been working on various policy initiatives such as sustainable development goals, among others, and she has been a major driver as a co-chair of the high-level panel for sustainable ocean economy. I attended our ocean conference in Oslo, and there I directly listened to her philosophy about the marine conservation and sustainable ocean economy. Now over to you, Prime Minister.
Dear friends, happy to participate at Japan's launch of the Ocean Panel's report. Looking at the map, the distance between Japan and Norway is great. But we share the same ocean, and both our countries depend upon the ocean for our food, our prosperity, and our health, and for the future of our coastal communities. Today, the oceans of the world face multiple human-made threats, from climate change to ocean acidification, overfishing, and marine pollution. 2 years ago, 14 heads of government set out to shape a transformative agenda for a sustainable ocean economy. The members of the Ocean Panel all represent important ocean states. And I'm very pleased that Prime Minister Suga has taken on to join the panel and to continue Japan's involvement in this very important undertaking. More than 230 world-leading experts have provided us with new science, knowledge, and opportunities for action. Their work is captured in an impressive report which sums up the abundant evidence of the benefits of ocean action for people, nature, and the economy. As leaders, we build on this knowledge in the political document we are presenting today. We are jointly calling for a transformation in how we manage the ocean. The document sets out a new ocean action agenda for a sustainable ocean economy, where ocean protection, production, and prosperity goes hand in hand. Prime Minister Suga, the 12 other Ocean Panel leaders, and I have committed to sustainably manage 100% of our ocean territories. We call on other world leaders and partners across the private sector, civil society, and others to join us in making the 100% goal a reality. Thank you, and arigato gozaimasu.
ソルベルグ首相、大変ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Solberg. She referred to SDGs for eradication of poverty, which is greatly damaged by the COVID pandemic. And in fact, those are global challenges that we cannot procrastinate solutions. Like in the case of climate change and marine conservation, she emphasized the need for international collaboration, concerted efforts toward marine conservation and sustainable economy. We deeply appreciate her active the initiatives and support to our activities.
Ambassador Francis Matsutaro has been spearheading the Ambassador of Palau to Japan since 2013. Then Emperor and Empress visited Palau in 2015. President Emerson met the Emperor and Empress in March 2019. We have celebrated so graciously the 25th anniversary of Palau-Japan diplomatic relation last year. He was previously president of the Palau Community College and first CEO of the Palau International Coral Reef Center. We highly appreciate Ambassador Matsutaro for your dedication to our mutual partnership. Thank you, Ambassador, for being with us, and may I invite now Ambassador Matsutaro to make remarks.
Ali, and greetings from Palau Embassy in Tokyo. Prime Minister Suga, Prime Minister Solberg, President Ramosao, ambassadors, colleagues, and friends. Thank you for the opportunity to offer a short guest remarks. Let me begin by saying, first of all, that from Palau Embassy, we are grateful to see the partnership between Palau and Japan growing over the past years in the areas of achieving a sustainable ocean and promoting the conservation and sustainable use of marine, particularly fishery resources. Secondly, we are encouraged by the support provided by the Ocean Policy Research Institute of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, together with the Japanese government and the Nippon Foundation, to the Our Ocean Conference postponed to 2021. And we appreciate Dr. Atsushi Sunami and his staff members for their work, and hope that Dr. Sunami and OPRI colleagues will continue to bolster such partnership. And thirdly, as articulated by President Ramosao, let me reiterate our hope that OPRI will continue to spearhead partnership with Palau for achieving a sustainable ocean and promoting sustainable blue economy in recovery to overcome COVID-19 challenges and for the benefit of Pacific Island countries and international community. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ambassador Matsutaro, for emphasizing the importance and achievement of our mutual partnership. We will certainly build upon the partnership that Ambassador Matsutaro has developed for long-term collaborations. Thank you, Ambassador Matsutaro. 続きまして、因賀新浜
Now I should like to call upon the ambassador.
Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and has been working for diplomacy with North America, Europe, Oceania, as well as global agenda such as health, sanitation, and security. She worked at the Embassy of Norway in Tokyo from 2004 to 2008 and returned to Tokyo as Ambassador of Norway to Japan August this year. Thank you, Ambassador Nihama, for joining us. May I invite Ambassador Nihama to make remarks.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to address you after such illustrious speakers as Prime Minister Suga, President Remengesau, Ambassador Matsutaro, Dr. Sunami, and of course, my own Prime Minister, Anna Solberg. The speakers have all made clear that the importance of the oceans to humanity simply cannot be overstated. Indeed, Norway, Palau, and Japan are all countries born where land and sea meet. Prime Minister Solberg underlined that we and very many other countries depend upon the oceans for our food, our prosperity, our health, and the future of our coastal communities. Japan is a linchpin of the global maritime economy and has enormous capacity, knowledge, and experience to bring to the table. The Japanese government and important organizations such as our good partner, the Sasakawa Peace Foundation and its Ocean Policy Research Institute, have participated actively and constructively in the high-level panel. This has been crucial to its success so far. Because the work is not done, now is the time for implementing this transformative action agenda for a sustainable ocean economy in our own countries, but also worldwide. In doing so, we look forward to continuing our long-standing, multifaceted cooperation with Japan. The development of green shipping is one aspect of this cooperation, improved ocean management another, ocean wind power might be a third, how large donors such as Norway and Japan can better assist other countries in achieving ocean sustainability is a fourth. We can work together in many ways. And with those final words, I would like to thank you for your attention and give special thanks to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan and the Sasakawa Peace Foundation for organizing this great event. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Nihama, for underlining the importance of our mutual partnership and leadership for achieving a sustainable ocean and ocean economy. Japan and Norway share a lot about global and ocean agenda, including ocean and Arctic issues. We look forward to promoting collaboration with you, Ambassador Nihama, and your ambassador colleagues and partners in Norway. Thank you, Ambassador Nihama, for your support. それでは続きまして、ハイレベルパネルメンバーのビデオメッセージをご紹介したいと思います。
Now, we have the video or message from 10 out of 15 panel, ocean panel members.
The ocean gives us life. It feeds us, entertains us, connects us, inspires us, and powers our success.
I grew up in a beachside suburb of Sydney, and it was very often the case that I'd head down to the beach after school with my mates. It is so much part of our way of life.
From an early age, you learn how to swim, you learn how to fish. That's a very important part of our culture and tradition.
Indigenous peoples have lived in harmony with our natural world and our oceans for millennia, and we need to draw from their expertise on how to better support and cherish and steward our oceans.
We are sailors, we are fishermen, we are industrialists, we are dependent on the oceans.
But today, the ocean's health is off track. At a time when we are already looking to recover from the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, we understand how vulnerable we are to health and other shocks.
It's important that we consider ocean as a partner. Life on Earth as we know it depends on the health of the ocean.
Research shows that a healthier ocean is a smart investment that will deliver social, health and economic and environmental benefits.
The health of our Earth and the health of our people are linked. They're totally intertwined.
我々の未来は海とともにあります。
Nuestra visión es encontrar un balance entre la conservación y el uso sustentable de los recursos del mar.
I believe we can choose a triple win: a win for people, a win for nature and our economy,
where effective protection, sustainable production, and equitable prosperity go hand in hand.
The Ocean Panel, composed of 14 serving world leaders, has put forward a new ocean action agenda.
Nous invitons à assurer une gestion durable de 100% des zones océaniques se trouvant à l'intérieur des limites de nos territoires.
Listening to science, listening to research, listening to best practices that we have seen work for many other countries.
Sustainable ocean action should be a cornerstone of national and global policies.
Pengelolaan laut yang berkelanjutan akan mendukung pencapaian SDGs.
We are looking for reason to believe that in 2021 and beyond, we can not only fix what COVID did to the world, but also fix the problems we already had on our plate.
Climate change, pollution, ecosystem collapse, economic instability, unhealthy diets, poverty, and unsustainable practices across all sectors.
The answer is a healthy ocean with sustainability at its core.
Oceans may separate us physically, but they can also bring humanity together for a healthy, prosperous future.
El esfuerzo por una economía oceánica sostenible y sustentable tiene que ser multisectorial y multilateral.
We call on more world leaders and other partners to join us in turning the 100% goal into reality and treat the oceans as the solutions for the future.
The ocean gives us so much, let's give it 100%.
We have just received messages from 10 heads of the states, from the members of the high-level panel. They shared with us their commitment to sustainable ocean economy and international collaboration. Well, thank you for waiting, actually. I'd like to now have a keynote speech by Mr. Keiichi Ono, Director General for Global Issues of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. After joining Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he has been involved in North America, Northeast Asia, and security, among others. And he served as the embassy in Indonesia until summer this year. And since July, he has become a Director General for Global Issues to be engaged in various challenges, including COVID-19, climate change, and ocean-related issues. And he served as a chief negotiator on behalf of Prime Minister Suga at the high-level panel. And he is going to introduce to us the recommendations that were produced at the high-level panel. Now, over to you. Good morning. Thank you for the introduction. To the participants who are physically here, as well as those who are listening as a webinar, thank you very much for participation. First of all, I'd like to express my appreciation to Dr. Sunami, Dr. Kobayashi, and the members of Sasakawa Peace Foundation and OPRI for organizing this webinar, including the planning. And to the President of Palau, His Excellency Lemengesau, and Ms. Solberg, Minister of Norway, and Ambassador Matsutaro of Palau to Japan, as well as the Ms. Nihama of Norway, the Ambassador to Japan. Thank you very much for your encouraging remarks. As we heard from those the leaders, the high-level panel for sustainable ocean economy was launched in 2018 under the initiative of Prime Minister Solberg of Norway, which consists of 14 heads of the states of major ocean states. What is unique is that this is a group that was voluntarily launched by the heads of the states. It is not the international organizations, nor it is a framework agreed upon by the conventions or treaties. Yet, this kind of the panel is quite unique in that it is the organization that is joined on a voluntary basis by the heads of the states. And also, we had a unique opportunity to listen to the video clip that shared with us the messages from those heads of the states. And according to different time zone, different events are taking place on December the 3rd, that is today, in various parts of the world. And this may be the first time again that such forms of events are taking place. Put it differently, the sustainable ocean economy is considered as one of the primary importance as an agenda item. Well, 14 countries may sound rather too few compared to the total number of countries in the world, which is more than 90 rather. But the coastal lines of high-level panel member states represent 40% and EEZ 30%, and therefore the high-level panel takes on great weight in discussing ocean-related matters. Since late last year, for the leader statement that was announced this time, what is called Sherpas, who are the personal representatives of the heads of the states, were engaged in exchange for producing a leader's document, despite the challenge by the COVID pandemic. Yet we came up with such a document. Because those countries are distributed geographically in a wide range. Therefore, the online meeting took place in the midnight in Japan and in Palau, and then early in the morning in Mexico and Chile, and thus we faced a series of difficulties in progression of discussion and production of documents. Yet, because of the primary importance of sustainable ocean economy for 14 countries and for the globe, as we share the common idea that we have to take concrete actions, and thanks to the leadership and coordination made by co-chair, the ambassador, the permanent representative of Palau to United Nations, His Excellency Alai Ulden, together with the Sherpa of Norway, worked hard to produce such the leaders' document. To their efforts, I'd like to express my hearty appreciation. Now, more specifically about the leaders' document. First, about this document itself. Although it is not included in this document, the word transformation is included in the title. Here again, the strong desire and intention, or the will of 14 states are represented there. And by 2025, according to Sustainable Ocean Plan, the high-level panel member states would produce such a sustainable ocean plan and then committed to conduct a management in a sustainable fashion for 100% of the ocean territory or ocean region that is within their jurisdiction. If this is implemented, that means the 30% of EEZ of the world would be managed in a sustainable fashion by 2025. Furthermore, by 2030, the high-level panel calls for the production of the Sustainable Ocean Program to other coastal and ocean states. As far as I know, this is the first type of the document in kind that commits to 100% sustainable management of the EEZ, as well as the call for formulation of sustainable marine program. Areas with which the goals are identified by 2030. It is quite comprehensive and wide in range, as you see on the bottom of the screen. Resources, energy, entertainment, tourism, shipping, marine industry, environment, climate change, science, and finance, among others. In fact, it encompasses a wide range of topics and issues that are all related to ocean, and that for sustainable use of ocean, those areas are considered to be critically important. Because of time limitation, I'd like to highlight two of them. First comes the renewable energy. As we heard from Prime Minister Suga, Japan declared to achieve carbon neutral and net zero by 2050. To achieve that, offshore power generation is essential. For introduction of the offshore wind power, the Offshore Use Act for the offshore wind project was developed to identify standard rules for the use of the sea areas, among others, and also as a part of the renewable energy that is included in the Energy Basic Plan to make it the major the power source. The offshore wind power is expected to be further promoted. And in fact, the offshore power plant, the wind power plant that is, consists of 10,000 to 20,000 parts and components, and therefore it would affect a wide range of supporting industries, thereby activating and revitalizing the local economy as well. In other words, it can produce three impacts with a single method, that is, the climate change, economy, as well as energy security by way of offshore wind power. Next is about the marine pollution, especially about the marine plastic litters. Due to the COVID pandemic, we saw more people utilize the food and meal takeaway, and therefore the consumption of plastics for packaging is increasing. We now recognize the important role of the plastics. At the same time, the world is faced with how to properly dispose of them. And despite the magnitude, the ocean plastic litter is yet to be elucidated, including its reality and how it is distributed throughout and migrated throughout the ocean. We are working together with UNEP and UNEP IETC in supporting developing countries for technology transfer for waste disposal. I'm sure that Mr. Honda is going to introduce IETC later on. At G20 Osaka Summit, Japan announced the Osaka Blue Ocean Vision to achieve the zero additional pollution by ocean plastic litters by 2050. Nowadays, beyond G20, this vision is shared with 86 countries and the region. To realize Osaka Blue Ocean Vision, Japan also stated that it is going to support the infrastructure development and development of the talent for the waste disposal, and to lead international discussion on marine plastic litters. Now, this is the last slide. Well, after production of the leaders' document, this is not the end of the activities of high-level panel. Next year, UNER 5, that is the United Nations Environment Assembly 5, is scheduled together with the UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon, Portugal, and Our Ocean in Palau, which was referred to by previous speaker. There are various ocean environment-related international conferences that are planned for next year. We should take a full advantage of those opportunities to disseminate and share the concepts and philosophy in this leaders' document. As we heard from Prime Minister Suga, leaders' document that is announced this time would function as a compass for construction of sustainable ocean economy, and hope that we can work together with you to navigate this ocean. I have just reported to you the high-level panel and the leaders' document. Thank you very much.
この審議会大変ありがとうございました。
Mr. Ambassador Ono, thank you very much. They are covering a wide range of issues such as offshore wind, as well as the marine, the plastic litter, where Japanese government has been emphasizing efforts, give it 100%. there is a very strong determination expressed by the world leaders, and we can now understand that very more deeply with the Ambassador Ono's presentation. I hope that more further details will be discussed at the panel session. The next speaker is Her Excellency Ms. Olai Udong Sherpa of the President Remengesa of the Ambassador and the Permanent Representative of the Republic of Palau to the United Nations.
Very active in promoting international partnership for global agenda, including ocean and climate change. Ambassador Olai was a co-facilitator for the second UN Ocean Conference preparatory meeting to be held next year. Ambassador Olai is also a coordinator of the working group on capacity building and technology transfer of the Intergovernmental Conference on the proposed agreement for marine biodiversity in the areas beyond national jurisdiction, the so-called BBNJ. Ambassador Olai has played an important role in preparing for the Ocean Conference in Palau. Ambassador Olai will give us her perspectives of the Pacific Island countries in connection with the high-level panel's policy recommendations. Can I invite Ambassador Olai to make your remarks?
Prime Minister Suga, Prime Minister Solberg, President Musao, Ambassadors, Excellencies, guests. This has been a difficult year for all of us. In my role as Palau's UN Ambassador, I have experienced the disruptions to other major diplomatic moments on this year's ocean calendar, from the second UN Ocean Conference to concluding a new high seas biodiversity treaty. At the same time, our impacts on the ocean are not diminishing. So it gives me great pleasure that in the middle of this pandemic, panel members and my fellow Sherpas have been able to conclude this work on our new ambitious ocean agenda. It highlights how the ocean is not a victim, but an essential part of solving global challenges. The transformations document that we are launching today identifies 74 actions on which we have found consensus among the panel members. 74 actions that have been informed by science and which we need to achieve through deeper cooperation and forging new partnerships. For island states like Palau, some of our priority actions will be different than those of Japan. Our economic structure is different. We are far more reliant on tourism that takes advantage of our reefs and waters rich in marine life, which our pristine paradise Palau tourism policy aims to attract. As a result, we need to make sure that our tourism infrastructure is sustainable and builds resilience to climate impacts. As a small state, our need for support in finance and implementation is much greater, with fewer domestic revenues to call upon, and which the pandemic has stressed greatly. So the transformations also spotlights the need for more coherent ocean finance that incentivizes sustainability and recognizes the unique circumstances of small island states. Building our resilience to climate impacts, including through nature-based solutions, is an urgent priority. The Ocean Panel supports a global target to protect 30% of the ocean by 2030, where each country's contribution will depend on national circumstances. In Palau, we have been able to far exceed this, but it is an ongoing effort that will require further partnerships. The advantage of the Sustainable Ocean Plan is its flexibility that allows recognition of these national circumstances. It is guided by our common vision to achieve sustainable ocean management for 100% of our waters under national jurisdiction. We need to use 100% of the ocean resources in a sustainable way. We need to put 100% effort into this because 100% of the ocean is connected as a system. We need to include 100% of the ocean's users in developing and agreeing on this plan so that we can improve and achieve equitable prosperity. In short, we need to give the ocean 100%, because 100% of us depend on the ocean. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Orai, for sharing your perspectives to enable Pacific Island countries to achieve a sustainable ocean economy. It's very important to tailor the policies to meet the common and the varying conditions of Pacific Island countries in the pursuit of a sustainable ocean economy. I thank you, Ambassador Orai, for your partnership and leadership, and we will build upon our work through our forthcoming joint activities. 持続可能な海洋経済に向け、パネルの共同議長及びメンバーである首脳のご挨拶、そして
We have received messages and greetings by the co-chairs of the panel as well as the heads of the states who are members of the panel, as well as the Director General, the Ambassador, who was also involved in the discussion. We will have an in-depth discussion after this in the panel forum, and thank you very much for your attention so far. Thank you.
小林主任研究員、ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much, Dr. Kobayashi, the Chief Researcher.
続きまして、国内外の有識者によるパネルディスカッションに移り、
I'd like to move on to a panel discussion. This part, again, is going to be moderated by Dr. Kobayashi, the Chief Researcher of the OPRI, Head Researcher of OPRI of Sasakawa Peace Foundation. You can access the webinar by link that is shown in the bottom of the screen. And if you have any questions or comments, please send them by 11:15. Now over to you, Mr. Kobayashi.
ありがとうございます。それではここから
Thank you very much. I'd like to now begin our panel discussion. As Dr. Sunami mentioned at the outset, the high-level panel refers to a panel that is formed by the heads of the states. To support and assist those activities, expert group was also formed, and in that expert group, JAMSTEC President Dr. Sakaguchi was actively participating in that expert group, and therefore, I'd like to first invite Dr. Sakaguchi to share with us the policy recommendation by the high-level panel through the eyes of the JAMSTEC. Thank you. Good morning. As was just introduced, I belong to JAMSTEC under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. I'd like to take this opportunity in discussing the role of NGO. Well, I'm not a member of the NGO. I belong to the organization that is the independent administrative organization of the Ministry or the Government of Japan, and currently we are working together with Norway for Arctic exploration, and with the support by Mr. Fukui of the Japanese government to develop icebreaker. And at the same time, I was a member of the expert panel, of the high-level panel, and there are 5 transformative agenda, and among them, because I'm a member of the research organization, research, health, and equity are the areas that I was involved in. Among them, the data plays a central role, collecting evidence, establish a theory, and then conduct a prediction and try to come up with a proof and repeat the cycle. The importance of that was agreed upon by many experts in the expert group, and yet to gain that, the top right, the independence and partnership, which may sound like somewhat contradictory with each other, has to be established. And also, we should not just focus on the issue that confronts us. We also have to look beyond the current challenge. In other words, we have to look at the one step ahead and quick decision. The importance of those aspects are the ones that I learned as important at expert group. But to realize that what is important, what is crucial, that is when we consider the roles of the government versus the private sector, with the support by WRI, I realized that the importance of NGOs. At the same time, they could be the lubricant to be the bridge between the private and public sector. In a way, NGOs can play like a blood that is the flowing inside of blood vessels. And one good example is related to activities since late last year till the early this year. There was a friendship yacht racing between Japan and Palau, and JAMSTEC was requested for microplastic measurement from Yokohama to Kuro in Palau. Every day, we conducted measurement over 3,200 kilometers in distance for marine plastics. And there is the wide marine protected area in Palau, and therefore we did not expect that the ocean is polluted. Well, the large circle that is found near Japan, and that corresponds to Yokohama. Compared to that, we thought there will be just a tiny dot in Palau, but it turned out that it was actually more than we anticipated, the degree of marine pollution by plastics. And here, the NGOs were quite active in working on us, and then the sailing organization also worked and placed a strong pressure to us. Otherwise, if there is a project under the government, then the budget is allocated, decided and allocated 1 year before, and therefore we could not take immediate action when the new needs emerge. But in this case, the government, private sector, and NGOs worked together. That led to a success, and also the UNEP joined us in the cruise. Boys and girls of Palau were invited for the education program. And in fact, talking about this webinar, this was realized thanks to quick decision by Sasakawa Peace Foundation and OPRI that again give us a renewed awareness about the important role of NGOs, and therefore we should consider how we can promote concerted efforts between the government and NGOs. By so doing, we are confident that we can implement action plan.
Dr. Sakaguchi, thank you very much. Yes, the goodwill, the yacht race, started at a very cold period of time in December last year. We went there, the airport to say farewell, and I believe that we need to have an ongoing effort building on this important program. Let me introduce briefly the advisory network of the Ocean Panel expert group and the advisory network supports this panel covering organizations throughout the world. Professional perspectives and the expertise need to be collected, and also how to translate this agenda into action. That also matters, as Ambassador Ono mentioned. Transformation, therefore, is important through specific activities. So various groups are being formed with that end. In this advisory network, we need to more effectively spread these messages and how to promote the transformations on the ground realistically. So innovation have to be promoted and realized, and the conservation of the marine and coastal ecosystems and the marine resources have to be accounted through ocean accounting for quantifications for effective use of marine resources. These are some of the ideas so that we can realize the community-based the sustainable ocean economy. We need to also explore commonalities as well as local specific conditions. By realizing one thing, perhaps we can have the co-benefits, realizing other additional benefits. We also have to consider trade-offs as well. Some successes that might lead to a loss of what's available. So perhaps changing some timing, we can optimize whatever we are to whatever action we are to take. Anyway, for sustainable ocean economy, for sustainable management of the ocean, we need to continue policy dialogue with these important points in mind. Now, the UNEP IETC, which the Ambassador Ono mentioned, I'd like to invite Dr. Shunichi Honda, please. The Earth is the kaput, or is destroyed. That's the message that the Secretary General of the United Nations mentioned. The Earth is being suffocated by the plastic, marine plastic, the litters. So we need to do everything we can do. So we need to collect the waste and the recycle and reuse them. We have been living in prosperity or affluence over the last 100 years, but that is enjoyed by some the consumers in the developed nations, but other people are paying the price for it. And waste is one of the most important and visible everyday issues. All people in the world produce waste, which amount to 2 billion tons annually, and $2 trillion is necessary to treat them. So we are contributing to these growing the burden and pressure on the earth. We need to reduce and reduce and reuse those the waste. I have been working for the UNEP IETC, responsible for the waste, the issues of UNEP. Annually, the $2 trillion is wasted for waste management, and that have to be turned into other more profitable purposes. So we are supporting the waste management of the UN member nations. In 2030, SDGs will be failed without this recycled society, and also the 2050 net zero will not be achievable either. The waste and climate change and all of wide-ranging issues are handled by us. All of these issues are interconnected. The reducing the ocean pollution, and we need to recognize the linkage between land and the ocean, and that would eventually lead to the reduction of waste. Waste have to be part of all the environmental issues that we face every day. So the recyclable and the oriented society have to be created for the earth, and that would also be the part of the solution to the climate change. In June this year, we started the UNEP Sustainable Action, because we are on the front line of the environmental the issues, and Seven and I Holdings and the Rakuten and the Seven and I Holdings joined us. We start through connection in order to change the world. We need to protect the earth because and the ocean, because the ocean is the place where the life is created, natural beauty, and if we recognize we are part of the nature, then we would voluntarily take action for the environment. In international any international coordination or collaboration, this is important, and we also inspire people and change people's behavior at the UNEP. Thank you.
本田さん、ありがとうございました。廃棄物。
Thank you very much, Dr. Honda. You touched on issues related to waste management. Now, another important aspect of policy recommendation is about sustainable fishing. Eradicate illegal fishing. Sustainable, the fishery, among others, are the challenges that fishery is faced with. We have Mr. Hiroyuki Sato, the manager of Sustainability Group, a Corporate Planning Department of Maruha Nichiro Corporation. Thank you for the introduction. I belong to Sustainability Group of Corporate Planning Department of Maruha Nichiro. I am very much delighted to be part of this panel discussion. I'd like to introduce to you some activities that we are undertaking. This year we celebrated 140th anniversary. We started from fishing, and then processing, distribution, among others, are the activities that we engaged in. Since the establishment, we have always enjoyed the benefits of the ocean, and therefore to protect the marine environment and eventually global environment and hand it over to the next generation is a mission and responsibility. And as one of the items in the sustainability midterm plan, the conservation of marine resources is included, specifically the increasing efforts for eradicating IUU fishery, sustainable fishing, and sustainable aquaculture, certification, traceability of imported fishery products, among others. As one of them, we engaged in resource research or survey starting this year for sustainable fishery starting fiscal year 2020. We looked at the fish and fish raw material for fish products among Maruha Nichiro Group and the suppliers, trying to confirm whether they were sustainably harvested and produced. And when there is an opportunity, we'd like to update the report as to what kind of achievement was made. And also, we joined CBOS. The CBOS mission is to lead a global transformation towards sustainable seafood production and a healthy ocean. And as an examples of actions, the addressing IUU and forced labor, child labor, climate change, and resilience to it. And although it is not included in here, traceability the marine plastic litters, among others, are the areas that 6 task forces are working on. And IUU fishery and forced labor are the topics that we are currently planning for various activities. By October 2021, within the group, IUU and forced labor has to be eliminated, and the report, the update, and also between 2021 and 2025 within the supply chain, when we identified any issues or problems, then we will take immediate action. These are the goals that we identified in this program. Of course, there is a limit to what we can achieve alone, and therefore, we were involved in formulation of CBOS. And Mr. Ito, the chairman of the company, was the first chairman of CBOS. And we are going to work on various challenges through CBOS as well as an organization. Thank you.
佐藤様ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Mr. Sato. Together with other multilateral fisheries companies, Maruha Nichiro has been and will continue to work for the sustainability of fisheries. Thank you very much. Offshore wind has been mentioned already several times today. Together with the climate change, the efforts, as well as part of the promotion of renewable energy. Offshore wind has been the important the international agenda these days. Now I invite Mr. Satoshi Yojima, Executive Officer and Senior Operating Officer, Business Development Department of JERA. Thank you very much indeed for your kind introduction. I'm from JERA. It is a great opportunity and honor for me to be able to address to you. And sustainable ocean economy, this is the important the subject. We have been working on this, so let me outline this to you today. Perhaps this is not very familiar to you, but this is the outline of our organization. TEPCO and Chubu Electric Power Company, they formed the JERA with the 50-50 capital participation and the international business and the fuel and also the power generation businesses are joined, and we produce 1/3 of the power produced in Japan, and the total workforce is about 4,000 right now. Our mission is to provide the latest solution to global energy issues, and offshore wind and the renewable energy development is a very important area that we have been accelerating our efforts these days. And these are the 3 areas that I'd like to discuss today. Zero, the emission 2050, and the offshore wind business. On the 3rd of October this year, JERA Zero Emission 2050 was announced with its roadmap. And the thematic the issues are identified with the strong focus on offshore wind and other renewable energy. And 1 gigawatt the installed capacity has been built, but by 2050 we'd like to increase that to 5 gigawatts. Presently, as to offshore wind in Taiwan and the UK, our efforts are concentrated, but we'd like to expand such activities also in Japan as well. Last week, finally, from the government Japan, it was the 3 locations off the coast of Akita was announced, and together with the experienced the Norwegian companies, we are now preparing for the application for the business development there. And the door-to-door approach which I'd like to now explain to you now. The renewables are important not only for Japan, but also globally for sustainable development. But how we do that depends on the timing and depends on the local specific conditions. Otherwise, decarbonization and sustainable the impact would not be expected. So that's why door-to-door comes in here. There are three components here. One, timeline. Usually, renewables you might imagine only development, but we need to consider the total lifetime, starting development until the removal of the or decommissioning of the facilities as well. And the second door-to-door is the total cost and the environmental impact have to be considered throughout the business cycle or their life. Offshore wind, of course, is beneficial for decreasing cost and the lower environmental impact, but the project lifetime as a total have to be considered for environmental impact as well as costs, because the not only offshore facilities but also online distribution and the facilities and the transmission facilities also have to be taken into consideration. And the third point is that since this is a large project, we need to consider the impact or acceptability for the local community. Smart transition. In order to realize smart transition, industry we need to consider all the advantages and the disadvantages of the businesses as well as its impact on the local community where business is operated. For example, since the large-scale offshore wind is introduced, then existing the power stations might be removed. That naturally should have some impact on the existing local businesses as well as local communities. These also have to be considered. Next, the OREAC, Ocean Renewable Energy Action Coalition. Global offshore operators and businesses get together, and JERA joined this organization in January this year. In June this year, offshore renewable have to be developed in a sustainable manner, and in order to reduce environmental impact by 2050, 1.34 trillion watt the offshore wind should be realized. This is a very ambitious target. If realized, then in 2050, offshore wind represent about 10% of the global the power consumption, reducing 2.5 billion tons of the carbon. And as the private sector's action, we just yesterday launched a roadmap as an OREAC document. Governments and the stakeholders will be urged to come together and formulate the more specific policies for safety, employment, as well as the coordination with other relevant the business and industrial sectors. So please visit our company's website for details of this document. Thank you very much.
Life cycle business.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yajima. You shared with us important themes, including life cycle management and other aspects as well. Now we have a speaker from Palau, Dr. Imnan Golbu, who is the CEO at the Palau International Coral Reef Center.
To have you with us, can you give us your remarks as to how we can really advance the implementation of the high-level panel's recommendation? Please, Imran.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kobayashi, and good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you today, especially happy that I was able to hear the remarks and to see my mentor, my sensei, Ambassador Matsutaro. It was good to see him in the morning session, earlier session. Today, I will be talking about Palau's ongoing efforts to fulfill one of the recommendations from the high-level panel, to put 100% of the ocean under active management. As an island nation, ocean conservation is an important part of Palau and as a country and its people. From the traditional custom of pool, which our ancestors used to protect our resources in the past, to the contemporary development of our network of nearshore protected areas. The Protected Areas Network, or PAN for short, was established in 2003 to address growing environmental threats from biodiversity loss, overexploitation of ocean resources, climate change, and unsustainable development. This network, which includes critical nearshore environment such as coral reefs, seagrass, and mangroves, extend across the whole of Palau. All the 14 states of Palau are members of the Protected Areas Network. And the design of the Protected Areas Network included the PAN Fund, a sustainable financing mechanism to help fund the management of the sites. Together, the Protected Areas Network and the existing fisheries regulations, including the ban of export of all coral reef resources, which was passed earlier this year, have significantly contributed to the effective management of Palau's nearshore environment. With the successful implementation of the Protected Areas Network in the nearshore area, Palau moved to significantly expand its management and conservation of the ocean under its exclusive economic zone by establishing the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. The sanctuary, which came into full implementation this year in January, sets aside 80% of Palau's EEZ as a protected no-take MPA, banning all extractive activities. This large-scale MPA expands the existing nearshore MPA network to include Palau's offshore and deep-sea environments. The remaining 20% of the EEZ is designated as a domestic fishing zone, where regulated and managed fishing is allowed. The overarching aim of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary is to conserve Palau's ocean heritage and increase the sustainable contribution of the ocean to livelihoods and well-being. This will be achieved through science-driven MPA conservation and management, by nurturing stronger pelagic fisheries for Palauans, and by attracting both environmentally and culturally responsible tourists to Palau. To ensure that Palau's management of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary is underpinned by science, Palau International Coral Reef Center was mandated to develop, conduct, and coordinate research and monitoring within the Palau National Marine Sanctuary to support adaptive management of the sanctuary. Research includes studies on residency, migratory pathways, and temperature range of tuna in the Palau National Marine Sanctuary, biodiversity assessment using environmental DNA, biomass assessment of resources inside and outside the sanctuary, and connectivity between the sanctuary and the nearshore environment. Outcome from the research and monitoring will provide management with information and guidance on how well PNMS is meeting its objectives, how resources are changing because of the protection, and how PNMS is being impacted by climate change and other threats. PNMS is a major advance in global ocean conservation and another affirmation of Palau's commitment to ocean conservation and to meet the recommendations by the high-level panel on ocean. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Imran. That PICRUC plays really important role in promoting conservation and sustainable use of marine resources. We are a bit running out of time, but we have several requests from our overseas colleagues to make a very short interventions. We have Mr. William Kostoka, Executive Director, Micronesian Conservation Trust in Pohnpei, Federated States of Micronesia. Can you condense your remarks maybe within 30 seconds? Willie, are you with us?
Thank you very much for allowing me to be a small part of your conference. Like everybody here, we welcome the policy recommendations of the high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy. As shared by our distinguished speakers, a sustainable ocean economy is critical for the development of the Federated States as well as the other countries in the Micronesia jurisdiction. Back in 2006, the leaders of Micronesia, led by President Ramangasa, committed to protecting 30% of our nearshore resources. Last year, they expanded on that commitment and set a new and more ambitious target of protecting 50% of our nearshore marine areas. And additionally, the FSM has launched the Blue Prosperity Micronesia program, which aims to help the FSM with its conservation and blue economic development strategies. We regard the ocean conservation and sustainable use as a policy priority and look forward to furthering our partnership with OPRI, the Japanese government, and other partners. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Willie. And we have Moriana Phillips, General Manager, Environment Protection Authority, Republic of Marshall Islands in Majuro. Moriana, are you with us?
Thank you for this opportunity to be part of this important forum. My name is Moriana Phillip, and I am the General Manager of the Republic of the Marshall Islands Environmental Protection Authority. Marshall Islands Environmental Protection Authority works across government and with political leadership to protect our vast natural resources and assure their sustainable use for future generations. Like our Pacific Island neighbors, the Marshall Islands is a large ocean state and not just a small island nation. Our extended territory is over 2 million square kilometers, and more than 99% of that territory is oceans, with some of the world's richest marine biodiversity. With so much at stake, the health of our ocean is a clear national priority, and we welcome the launch of the high-level report as an opportunity to refocus political will on the global stage in achieving healthy oceans. We are the busiest transshipment port, tuna transshipment port state in the world. Our tuna help to ensure global food security. Illegal fishing in our water is widespread, and that is not just an economy issue, it's a security threat. As a low-lying nation with no higher ground, sea level rise and climate change pose a grave threat to our survival. Despite our own national commitment and political will, we cannot do this ourselves. Oceans do not know boundaries, and by their nature require multilateral cooperation between countries. And a small nation with such vast oceans, our challenges for sustainable use is daunting. There are only a few of us with so much to protect. We rely closely upon deep and targeted international partnership to help us work our goal of our healthy, productive, and sustainable ocean environment. The current global pandemic has posed unforeseen challenges for us. While we remain COVID-free, thankfully, our borders remain shut and closed. And in international cooperation we rely upon has had to tackle new challenges. Yet we remain optimistic that there remains a shared commitment to achieve a sustainable future for our ocean. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu, komotada.
Thank you, Moriana. And we have Austin Shelton, University of Guam, and the Director for Center for Sustainability and University of Guam Sea Grant. Austin.
Konnichiwa, Ohio gozaimasu, half a day from the island of Guam. We've worked with our island's governor, Lulian Guerrero, to adopt the Guam Green Growth Action Framework this past September. And it's our island's most comprehensive action plan ever created to achieve our sustainable future. And it's aligned with the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Through our Sea Grant program, we focus on SDG 14, Life Below Water. And as a territory of the United States, Guam can boast having the most diverse coral reefs in the country. Our program works on coral reef research and ridge to reef projects, and we're also supporting the transition to a circular economy and achieving a new 100% renewable energy production mandate by the year 2045. So in alignment with SDG 17 partnerships for the goals, we are very interested in establishing sustainable alliances through more international partnerships. And we hope to work more closely with the Sasakawa Peace Foundation and OPRI in the near future. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you, Austin. We have Alex Maya, University of Hawaii at Manoa and the Center for Pacific Island Studies.
Hi, it's an honor to add voice and chorus of appreciation to all of the distinguished speakers this afternoon and their extraordinarily timely, potent vision for regional and global futurity. It's my pleasure to represent the University of Hawaii Manoa's Center for Pacific Island Studies. Now in its 7th decade, the CPIS, the Center for Pacific Island Studies, is the only U.S. National Resource Center for the interdisciplinary study of the Pacific region. For a number of years, we've been coordinating and collaborating with OPRI and addressing challenges faced by Pacific Island countries, particularly in the context of promoting the conservation and sustainable use of marine resources and tackling ocean risks and climate change with an emphasis on the agency, expertise, and role of Oceania's peoples and communities in confronting the challenge of the now. Together with the East-West Center, UH Manoa Sea Grant, and other partners here on our campus, we had the pleasure of organizing a regional workshop with the OPRI in Honolulu, February 2019, reflecting on the dynamic challenge of promoting sustainable blue economies in Pacific Island countries and territories. Sadly, we were forced to delay a following regional workshop in spring 2020 due to COVID. We're looking very much forward to advancing partnership with OPRI and other regional academic and non-academic units and partners to undertake interdisciplinary research for innovation and capacity building towards promoting sustainable blue economies. Congratulations to the work of this panel. Thanks again.
Thank you, Alexandra. And I have a Margaret Spring, Chief Conservation and Science Officer of the Monterey Bay Aquarium in Monterey Bay, California, USA.
Good morning to you, and it's good evening here. I'm pleased to be here. As a science-based ocean conservation organization, the Monterey Bay Aquarium strongly supports the high-level panel's call for unified action, including more government and private sector investment for ocean research and conservation. We are working to advance science-based solutions with our collaborators around the world and in Japan, including the Ocean Policy Research Institute, Seafood Legacy, and the Japan Fishery Research and Education Agency. Our aquarium is especially focused on making seafood production, both wild-caught and farmed, more sustainable. And that includes ending overfishing and IUU fishing and improving governance of both wild-caught and farmed seafood production through our work with Seafood Watch, our internal partner. We are pleased that our sustainable aquaculture projects for shrimp in Vietnam and for salmon in Chile have made progress in line with the 3 transformative areas cited by the panel: ocean health, ocean equity, and ocean knowledge transfer. We agree we also need to act together to fight ocean impacts of climate change, the exponential growth of ocean plastic pollution, and oil and mineral extraction. We urge precaution, and we stand ready to assist in science-based solutions. It's time to prioritize the ocean, our most important resource, to secure a livable future on our small blue planet. Thank you very much. I congratulate you.
Thank you, Margaret. And I have Douglas Macaulay, Marine Science Institute, University of Santa Barbara, California, Santa Barbara, and the director of the Benioff Ocean Initiative.
Thank you. And I want to thank my esteemed colleagues and distinguished speakers.
and certainly to congratulate OPRI on yet again convening us for such an important conversation on oceans and elevating that dialogue. It's indeed been a banner year for oceans and ocean leadership by Japan. Of course, that represented here with the launch of a high-level panel report, but also with Japan's leadership, as been mentioned earlier in our program, about their commitment to carbon neutrality. I can't tell you how eager and excited we are in the ocean science community here in the United States to rejoin Japan with momentum on both leadership and oceans and climate very, very soon. On a personal level, I want to very briefly thank Dr. Sunami, Mr. Kobayashi, for the opportunity to strengthen our collaborative relationship between the Benia Ocean Initiative and OPRI, and our chance to begin a collaboration between the World Economic Forum's Friends of Ocean Action and OPRI. Dr. Sunami, Mr. Kobayashi, it was a pleasure being with you together to start off on this collaborative journey in January in Davos. That feels like decades, perhaps not just months ago, given the way that time moves in 2020. But we look so forward to carry forward the momentum we built there in the coming months and coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug. And we are pretty pleased to share the panel's recommendation with our stakeholders around the Pacific. And we have received some questions as well. 皆様からいろいろご質問もいただきまして、時間が大変。
The time is really short. I really need to apologize for that. Even though we have received already questions, I'd like to ask the Ambassador Ono to close with some of the remarks. So, 100% approach has been repeated. Would you please mention the way forward, perhaps? Thank you very much. In the panel session, we enjoyed the very specific action initiatives, action plans as well. And we also have heard short but very ambitious statements, which were very encouraging as well. This leadership document has just it's marking the start line for us. As many speakers already mentioned, for sustainable ocean, managing and developing a sustainable ocean requires a wide-ranging and deep commitment, 100% commitment. Of course, achieving 100% the commitment is not the end. We need to go beyond, because even I mentioned some of the 30% that is so and so objective. That means that we should and can go further beyond to 40% or 50%. Not only governments, but also all stakeholders in the public, in the private and the civil society sectors are required to join in. Thank you very much.
We
heard about the information disclosure about fishery or life cycle, power generation cost, among others, included in the questions that we received. We hope to respond to them through website of ours. Sorry that we have exceeded the time that was allocated, but with this, we'd like to conclude this seminar. Thank you. To all the experts who joined us in discussion, as well as the audience who sent us questions and comments, thank you very much. Now, at the end, I should like to invite Mr. Eiji Sakai, Deputy President of OPRI, to give us the closing remarks. Well, I am Sakai, the Deputy Director of the OPRI. At the end, I'd like to share with you my closing remarks. Thank you very much for taking a time and joining with us at this international webinar on Ocean Panel's policy recommendations promoting sustainable ocean economies and international partnership. Also, I'd like to extend my words of thanks to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Embassy of Palau to Japan, as well as the Embassy of Norway to Japan, and all the panelists, both from Japan and from abroad, for joining with us, together with those that were engaged in planning and organization of this seminar, today we had the pleasure of hearing from Prime Minister Suga, the President Remengesau, the Prime Minister Solberg, the Ambassador Nihama, Ambassador Matsutaro, as well as Ambassador Ono, together with other experts, and we had a very significant productive discussion due to pandemic. The mobility is greatly hampered, and despite that, the recommendations were shared, and we had in-depth discussion, which was quite significant. Whenever we talk about conservation of the ocean and sustainable use of the ocean to support our livelihood, and that is what is meant by sustainable ocean economy, as extremely important as a policy agenda when the international community is faced with the variety of challenges due to the COVID-19. Today, our discussion mainly centered around Japan and the Pacific Ocean with the participants from this region. OPRI has the interest in marine from global point of view, and therefore we also look at Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Southern Pacific, Arctic Ocean, among others. And through collaboration with stakeholders, we'd like to further promote the policy studies and policy dialogue for conservation of marine environment, the ocean, and sustainable use of that. I sincerely hope for your continued support and cooperation in promoting such studies. Before conclusion, I'd like to once again thank all of you for your participation, including those that contributed to the discussion and sent us comments. Thank you very much.
以上をもちまして、
Thank you very much. This concludes the international webinar, Ocean Panel's Policy Recommendations Promoting Sustainable Ocean Economies and International Partnership. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.